What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Got a little Halloween theme song tunes going on today. It was a mash. I am recording this on Halloween, in case you couldn't tell. And I'm getting festive. I'm getting in the mood. All right, I'm gonna stop with the music. How's everybody doing this week? I'm recording on Halloween, but obviously you are listening on Tuesday, right? No, maybe you're listening on Wednesday or Thursday. It's okay. But I'm telling you guys, Tuesday, you're gonna get the best experience. You're gonna get the best Talk Cash podcast experience because like 20% of my jokes are made for Tuesdays. It's Talk Cash Tuesday, baby. Talk Cash Tuesday. Honestly, just you can listen whenever you want. Reshare some of the stuff that I post on Tuesdays. Take a little picture of you sharing it, whatever you want to do. But I'm trying to make Tuesdays special because Tuesdays suck otherwise, right? And it's kind of catchy with the Talk Cash Tuesday. Mondays, well, two types of people: those that are motivated on Mondays and like, let's go get it. I am like that some Mondays. I wrote this morning. I woke up and I wrote a huge list of things to do by Wednesday, and I wrote a secondary list of things to do by Friday. And that is how I'm going to tackle my ADD this week. We'll see. I'll update you guys next week on how it goes. I've already knocked off two things on the list that were due Wednesday. Pretty happy about that. I got to Venmo a tattoo artist too. I'm getting a new tattoo on Friday. That's fun. It's a waste of money. It's gonna be a waste of like $200 probably. But I started a half sleeve back in 2020, and I took my time completing it. We're not, so it's finally time. So you know what? I got to get that done because otherwise it just looks half-assed. Just my tattoo placements just look random otherwise until we connect the dots. But yes, that is. I'll let you guys know next week how that goes. The ADD has been a real problem for me recently, just because I've had having so many things that I want to do and like want to knock out. And as soon as you get one thing done, you want to reward yourself, right? But then at the same time, it's like, nope, you got more stuff to do. So I've been battling that. But hey, if you're watching, check it out. Also, I'm gonna be putting these on YouTube from now on. I'm done with the fuckery. We're going on YouTube because I know a lot of people. I've been spending a lot of time on YouTube the other day. I like watching podcasts, the video version of podcasts sometimes, certain podcasts. Others I'm fine listening to it. Um, and I like getting just that different feel of like content. I like watching YouTube. I was talking to someone the other day. I was like, "Do you watch YouTube videos?" They're like, "I have, but I do not regularly." And I'm like, "Oh, then you wouldn't get it, right?" Because I mean, I don't even watch YouTube that much because there's like YouTubers out there that I've never heard of that are making millions, right? And I don't really know. More on Instagram, more on TikTok and stuff like that. But we're going to YouTube, people. All right. But we're going to YouTube. Let me tell you where you can some updates right now, though. All right. You're gonna be watching this, hopefully. As you can see, new merchandise, baby. New shirts. Talk Cash or Don't Speak merchandise and shirts are available. I have a first order ready to go in black, and I'm going to do a pre-order for white. So if you're a, I was going to say if you're a white kind of person, if you like white shirts, stay tuned over the next week. The first week of November will be a pre-order session for white shirts of the Talk Cash or Don't Speak shirt. The black shirts are available for purchase now. The website is up. The merchandise is not on there just yet. So November 1 or November 2 is when you can start seeing information on pre-orders for the white availability and actually making a purchase for the black availability. But I'm rocking it now. I got the schmedium going. It's just a medium. Maybe one day I'll grow to a large, but like I've already reached my goal of reaching a medium. I was just so sick of being like, I'll take a small. Ugh. You know how that was an ego hit to myself. But black, white, you walk it, wear it around, show it off to people. And when they say, like, hey, what's that? talk cash or don't speak. First, you tell them it's the podcast. But second of all, it gets the conversation going on finance and personal finance and financial literacy, right? And that's the goal. That's really the goal here. I'm not really going to get rich off of selling t-shirts, but if you want to share or support the podcast, support myself here, this is all opportunities that this is an opportunity for you guys to do that here. And I'm hoping to be able to reinvest back into the podcast for next year. I'd like to build out a little bit of a studio. I'm trying to get more guests in person now that people are comfortable going in person. Zoom is convenient, but I like in person too, and it's a different feel. So I got to get some new equipment for that and to make all of that possible. And then also with money, I could actually probably get some pretty fire guests, maybe. So that'd be pretty sweet. Incentivize them to take an hour of their day and share some awesome tips for a small financial fee there. I don't really know if that's like the industry standard. I haven't paid guests so far, but it's something I might have to look into as I look upstream to some much bigger guests. So keep an eye out. Talkcashordon'tspeak.com is live right now. I would love for you to go check out the website, and you guys can let me know feedback or thoughts at all. And then stay tuned over the next couple of days here for information about pre-ordering a white shirt or purchasing a black shirt. And as always, social media wise, Talk Cash Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. But the website is talkcashordon'tspeak.com. And the email that you can let us know feedback, thoughts, tell stories, whatever, fucking write to yourself and just send it my way. I'm happy to be a sounding board for you to just rant about friends too. I don't care. And maybe I could read some of those rants. That'd be really fun. I'd have to try to anticipate the tone of the voice of the person who wrote it, but you can do those at talkcashordon'tspeak@gmail.com. Big movements there, but there's more to do. I have a lot more planned. So I'm excited, but we're going to start knocking them out slowly but surely. You're going to just see a lot more popping up, a lot more opportunity through the Talk Cash or Don't Speak community. So that's that. Housekeeping out of the way. Happy Tuesday to the listeners. I'm still on Monday though, and today is Halloween. So I want to talk about Halloween. I originally was supposed to be in New Orleans for this weekend. Wanted to do a long weekend in New Orleans for Halloween because I thought it'd be a spooky time, um, do some tours of some graveyards, do like a spooky bayou tour, and just have a nice little party time. I love partying at Halloween. So the original plan was New Orleans. Apparently, it's New Orleans' second busiest weekend behind Mardi Gras. I did not know that. I thought I was being clever saying to go to New Orleans for Halloween, and then people didn't want to come. It was kind of costly. I'm not gonna lie. The flights alone were like $700. They're like $350 per person, which kind of is on the upper echelon of flights. I don't know what people expect with flights these days, right? Like I can go to Vegas for $90 from Denver. Anybody in the country can most likely fly to Vegas for like $200. Anything over 300, I think it starts to get a little costly. And we're getting into the costly season right now anyway, with Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up. But I don't really know because during COVID, flights were like abysmally cheap. And so I think people are still programmed to think flights cost $150. Like getting to somewhere and back for 300, that's not a bad deal, people. So I don't know. That's something that we might have to readjust our mindset on. But there's always the budget carriers, right? There's always Spirit. You may end up a Spirit after flying Spirit, but who knows? There's Frontier. There's budget options. So you guys should work on what we're considering costly for flights these days, I think. But and then the hotel alone, the hotel was going to be like 400 per person, 300 to 400 per person, which is about $100 a night. Which again, when you break it down to $100 per night, is not that bad. I booked a sweet Airbnb to fit 10 people, and just people couldn't make it with schedules, and people didn't want to pay for it. I get it, but like also, I don't think $100 per night for a hotel is that costly. It's per person, so that is different, right? If you come as like a couple, that's 200 per night, which is a little more costly. But if you're a solo rider, $100 per night, like where are you getting that? Don't make me go back to Nashville and talk about the home suite or whatever fucking hotel I stayed at there and how terrible that was. And that was like 110 per night. Anyway, I digress. So that was kind of what I originally had planned, and then people backed out, which was I was not upset about, because I also would like to kind of just pocket the money and save it right now. I've been spending a lot on the house and spending a lot on everything right now. Things are costly. I'm about to get into some stuff here, but things are more expensive every year, and we just talk about it when it comes to inflation, but you start feeling it every now and then too. And yeah, people, you're not alone out there. Use feel free to reach out to me if you guys want tips on how to like cut costs or where to cut costs, things like that. But I did not party for Halloween this weekend. Pretty impressed with myself. If you've been listening over the last 2-3 weeks, you know that I've been trying to cut back on drinking a little bit. I have hit a couple pop-up bars for Halloween throughout the month of October, but I did not go out drinking this weekend. I went to like an event, a Halloween event, which wasn't really even that Halloweeny. It was more just going to a theme park on Friday. That was cool. Saturday, stayed in, kept to myself. New Call of Duty is out, so I've been playing that. That's the nice thing about video games. Like, yes, they don't push me closer to my goals. Yes, it's a waste of time. Yes, it costs money, $60, $70 for a video game, $500 for a new system in general. But once you make that purchase, then I'm less like $70 for a video game. And then I stay in 2 nights that weekend and I don't go out the following weekend because I'm playing the video game. I usually probably spend between $50 to $100 when I go out, between the Ubers, the drinks, the food, whatever. So that is saving money right there. That's 70 over 2 weekends versus being like 50 to 100 on both of those weekends. That's a deal. So I don't know. For some people, I think video games are a way to save money. I'm hoping to be a little antisocial November and December this year. Work on some stuff for the podcast, work on some other projects that I have going on. Problems. Work on some other projects I have going. I'm head down for the rest of the year. And so you can hop online at like 12 o'clock and I can play a video game from like 12 till 3. And that's a little less detrimental than being out until 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. drinking still. Because the next day, while I'm like tired, I'm like right next to my bed. I'm in my bedroom, playing online. So I can really cut off at any time and I'm spending less money. So that's something that I might be making a switch to. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, we had a soccer game on Sunday. Shout out to my soccer team. And a lot of us were hungover. I was not one of them. Felt good for like the first time in probably 10 years. Like I'm telling you, I fucking love celebrating Halloween. And I've been celebrating since I was like 16 years old. So it was nice to take a little break. But it was just nice to not be hungover or anything. You guys don't give a fuck about my life, though. You guys care about personal finance. You guys care about money. You guys care about investing. So let's talk about money. Let's talk about how money tunes in with Halloween. So Americans, this is a Forbes article from a study with the National Retail Federation. Spending has increased this year. So based on surveys, Americans reported spending about $10.6 billion this year on Halloween. That's a mix of your decorations, your costumes, your candy, other types of things too. There's one other thing as well. But yeah. And I was thinking about that and I was like, that's crazy, right? That's crazy that it increased. It was $10.1 billion last year in 2021. So what, $500 million increase? That's not crazy considering how inflation has increased the price of everything. And that's not crazy considering last year people were still kind of hesitant to get outside with COVID. This increase since 2020, though, is a little more staggering. $8 billion spent in 2020 to compare to the $10.6 billion across America this year. So again, it's increasing inflation. We expect costs like that to go up every year, But here's my concern: Americans are struggling right now. Like, there's a recession. Companies that are very well like known are not doing well. You got Google, you got DocuSign, you got Slack, you got Twitter, all of these having mass layoffs. And we as consumers, the average person, are spending more and more on literally junk. Your Halloween decorations are junk. The candy is junk. Now, I'm going to be transparent with you guys. I spent money on decorations, spent money on candy. I told you I'd gone out to a couple pop-up bars. I spent money on going to haunted houses. So I like getting into the theme of things, but like as we see the economy going down and spending going up, I'm very concerned for what's going to happen over the next 6 months here because consumerism is an addiction. It's a habit that is hard to break. And once you start spending $5,000 a month, let's just use that for a clean, easy number, it's going to be really hard for you to go back down to 2.5 or 3 or 4 thousand dollars a month should anything happen with your job, should anything happen in life, right? Health, whatever. Sacrifices, people. Like if the money's not coming in, you have to sacrifice on the other end, at least for a little bit to compensate. It's just a good practice. 3 billion of that, sorry, I was going to say 3 billion of that money, $3 billion of the 10 billion this year being spent was on candy, 3.4 billion on decorations. This is funny. This is funny right here. $710 million, so $500 million, just over, almost $750 million was spent on pet costumes. Pet costumes. Meanwhile, if we look all the way back to 2015, America spent $3 billion on Halloween. So that 3 billion was compared to the in 2015, 8 years later, or 7 years later, sorry, is now 10 billion. So that has tripled in 7 years. Again, consumerism is a drug. The voices, the powerful people that be in this country want you to be broke. They want you to buy into Halloween. They want you to buy into overspending around Christmas. They want you to go out and buy that new flat screen on Black Friday. They want you to get in on the Labor Day sale. They want you to get in on the Memorial Day sale. Oh, Martin Luther King Day. Why not do a Martin Luther King Day sale, right? They want you to spend money. They want your pockets empty because when your pockets are empty, guess what you have to do? You have to fucking work to pay your bills. If you save all of your money and spend none of it, the economy doesn't go up and these companies don't get their boosts and then the executives don't get their stock bonuses. Also, the employees don't have to work. If you save all of your money, which is I know is not realistic. I'm just being facetious here, being a little like extreme in my example. But if you save all of your money and don't spend any of it, guess what? If you save it enough, 5, 10 years, you will not have to work anymore. That's not very good for the global economy. That's not good for gross domestic product. That's not good for these big corporations who need you working. They want you broke. They want you stupid. They want you desperate for the next paycheck, the next hit, the next dopamine hit. You're like a fucking addict. Oh, when can I get my $1,500 paycheck so I can spend 900 of it right away? Or, oh, I spent $1,300 last month that I have to pay off on my credit card. Let me make my $1,500 this month. You see that? And then guess what? You have 200 left over. What do you do with that 200? Most people don't invest it. If you're listening to the show, I know you invest it or you save it. But that's $200 of 1,500. It's not a good takeaway. So that's why people say pay yourself first, right? Like instead, you're paying people. People love to make the argument that if you're renting, you're paying someone else's mortgage. Well, guess what? You do have to pay for a place to live. So there's nothing really wrong with paying someone's mortgage, in my opinion. But if you are not investing and if you're spending money on clothes, food, jewelry, you are paying for someone else's dream. You are paying for someone else's vacation. You are paying for someone else's ownership of a business. You're paying for someone else's retirement. Why don't people get salty like that? Why are they like, oh, I couldn't justify paying $1,500 in rent because I was paying someone else's mortgage, but I can justify spending $200 on brunch every month at my favorite local brunchery. Your favorite local brunchery, you'd rather support them than a landlord. I mean, that's fair, but like, please know that you're still supporting someone in everything that you do, everything you spend. There's an owner of that company, there's shareholders of the company. I don't know, man. That's why I like the support and the big pushes of supporting small businesses, because then at least you can most likely know who you're helping versus like a Jeff Bezos type person. But hey, I have nothing against Jeff Bezos, because guess what? At one point, Amazon was a small business trying to take down Barnes and Nobles. Barnes and Nobles is a shitty fucking business model. I go there now and the books are still $22. What? I order on Amazon, it's here tomorrow, and it's like 14. So yeah, fuck Barnes and Nobles. That's why you always have to be innovating. So if you're a small business owner, the next guy's coming for you. If you're like you work for a large corporation, the small businesses are coming for you. That's America. That's capitalism. It breeds competition, and I fucking love it. All these people who complain about capitalism these days, eh, I don't think they really know what they're talking about, because you're welcome to go to a communist country, but I don't think you'd like it very much. Anyway, I got off tangent right there, or on a tangent. I was talking about Halloween. That's crazy. So $10.6 billion in 2022 roughly spent on Halloween across America. That works out to about $100 per person. So that's kind of interesting there. When I look at what I spent, I bought a blow up decoration. And here's the nice thing about decorations that like you could argue against my their junk comment. If you take care of them, they'll last, right? So you don't have to buy decorations every year. I bought a blow up ghost, bought some lights. I think that worked out to about $80. There was some pumpkins bought, probably $20 worth of pumpkins. So that's 100 right there. Um, I did go to haunted houses, so probably about like uh $250 on haunted houses or so. So that's like $350, but that's between two people, right? So that's the nice thing there. That's what 350, so that's 175 or so. So that's not crazy. It's a little bit over. It's pretty much double. But again, hopefully next year, very little needed to be spent on decorations or anything. I spent zero on costumes this year because I didn't go to a Halloween party. I wanted to go to a Halloween party that was like $70 for men, but that included all your drinks. But again, not I didn't I had one beer that night instead. So it worked out really well. Worked out really well. Um, Stay tuned for more information about how this like I'm not drinking too much situation goes, right? Um, Make your own costumes though. That's what I feel like I used to do as a kid. I like you don't have to buy costumes. Recently I have been buying them because I'm lazier, but as a kid we got creative and we made costumes. Or you wear like you buy clothing that you could wear anyway, like khakis or some shit. One of my favorite outfits was when I went as Gustavo Fring from Breaking Bad. I wore a yellow shirt. I put a homemade Pollo Hermanos sticker over it. I wore khakis and I got my glasses on and I did a buzz cut and I looked like him. Another year I did Obama. That was easy. I wore a blue suit that I had already and a tie, and I did a buzz cut again. And I just walked around interrupting every single person's conversation, saying, I believe in change. I got Obama nailed right there. I got him down. I believe in change, people. We need to change the music at this Christmas party. But yeah, so I mean, I just the consumerism, the buy, borrow, die mentality here in America, it's not going to go away. I guess costumes this year were the highest since 2017. So pre-COVID spending is back, and it's going to be higher because of the inflation that we're dealing with right now. The $710 million on pets is concerning to me, though. I have some things to say to you, pet owners. Why are you buying costume outfits for your pets? I guess you have to. You could make your own, but uh, leave your pets at home. I don't know, whatever. I don't have a pet though, so I people will be like, I love my pet. Sally Mae is the best dog ever. I love my parrot. Real quick though, I just wanted to bring up another statistic while we're talking about like candy. Dental costs are about $1,000 a year for your average American. That's without dental insurance. People in Europe are like, without dental insurance, what you talking about? Right? No, without dental insurance, your costs are like $1,000 a year. With dental insurance, still like 950 a year on average. So it doesn't really change that much. But take care of your teeth, people. Brush your fucking teeth. Do you know how many times? Like, not only are cavities and root canals and all that painful, but they're expensive. Most of that stuff is like out of network, or they, I don't even know. They just find a way. The dental industry, just like the healthcare industry, finds ways to screw them around insurance and what's covered and what isn't. So I just wanted to drop that bomb there. Brush your teeth, take care of your teeth. My smile is all I got, so I have to take care of my teeth. I did just have a nice discussion with someone at work on our like HR team and such though, and I'm going to be switching my insurance because I normally do a PPO plan, which means I pay a monthly premium, and I think it's like $140 or so. So over the course of the year, that's like it works out to like $1,800 total in like premiums. Then you still have to pay like deductibles or co-pays a lot of the time. And so the goal with doing that, the PPO plan, is that I actually thought that like I didn't want to risk getting injured and like having to pay for a big surgery. Last year, was it last year? Yes, it was 2021. I separated my shoulder. And so that hurt. But I also had to pay for like the sling and all that shit. Luckily, I didn't need surgery, but I very well could have. And I'm actually worried I might still need if I have like another big fall. But I ski, I snowboard in the winter, I ski in the winter, I play soccer all year round. I can't tell you how many people I know have torn ACLs, MCLs, all that. Luckily, not me. The worst I've ever had happen to me when playing soccer was a torn meniscus. Meniscus is the cushion between your knee, basically. So, I mean, anybody who plays soccer or basketball probably familiar with the meniscus. Maybe if it's not from you, it's from someone else. But they're very common. Luckily, it's not a huge major surgery or anything, but it's still a surgery. So that costs money. So I just wanted to take precaution there. But I did some math, and I if I don't pay the premium, if I go the high deductible health plan, then I would the max out of pocket that I would pay because of my health insurance is like 3,700 in network, and out of network 7,200. So worst case scenario, I pay $7,000 out of network. But at this point, I found doctors and everything in network. The benefit of the high deductible health plan is the HSA that comes with it. You can contribute up to $3,500 as an individual in 2022 right now. That's triple tax advantaged. What does that mean? When you contribute, it is tax free. The growth is tax free. And when you withdraw and put that money towards a specific health expense, it is also a tax free withdrawal. So if you, like I want to retire early, right? So this is my thinking. From 45 to 65, when like Social Security and 401k and all that kicks in, what am I going to do for healthcare? Health is one of the most expensive things. And as you get older, it gets more and more expensive. So my plan is to use that health savings account. So you can contribute your $3,500. You can invest it in stocks too. You have a lot of control over how you invest that money. And if you use it, right, if let's say like the $3,700 out of pocket, if I want, I could use the $3,500 that I've contributed to HSA. But it just depends on, how much you need and everything. But and then also I know some optometrist offices, dental offices, they give you benefits or discounts on things on services if you are paying through like an HSA. Something to consider and something to look at in your practice. But that's kind of like my thoughts there. I am switching. I'm going to save the $140 a month, so I'll be saving that $1,800. So that's nice. As long as I remain healthy, I don't have to dip into my HSA. Well, I'll contribute the 180 at least to that. My employer also matches a little bit of my HSA. You should check if your employer makes any contribution to your HSA. I think my employer makes like a $700 contribution. So I can contribute like $2,800. So that's not too far off from the 1,800 I would have paid anyway. Maybe one extra paycheck I just dump into there or something. So that's kind of something to think about there too. I'm making that change. If you're young, healthy, definitely something to think about. Review your plans. Everybody's situation is different. And if you have a family, that could greatly alter that, right? As soon as you have kids, you should have life insurance. But as soon as you have kids, your insurance and the healthcare, everything gets a little more complicated. As soon as you get married too, because you have someone that's dependable on you. Still a couple years out on that for me, but I'm getting there. I'm getting older. It's getting close. The comparison of $10 billion, I wanted to compare that to another holiday for you. Because next up is Thanksgiving, Black Friday. I'm trying to see if I can hold out for a new dishwasher until Black Friday. I saw some in Home Depot and some in Costco for $400 or $500. And then I saw one online that was like highly recommended. It was Bosch, and it's $1,000. And I'm like, fuck me. Do I go with the budget option or do I go with the one that's like everybody is recommending this one? They say it will last 5 to 10 years, which I didn't even know that's like the lifespan of a dishwasher. If I can hold off till Black Friday, maybe I can get a discount on that. I don't know. I'm gonna be there at midnight, bum rushing the front door. Let me in! Let me in! I hear you guys have the Bosch dishwasher. Everybody else is like, we're just here for the big screen, dude. Hey, let's do Black Friday smarter this year. I'm gonna do a Black Friday episode again, but I like to go through the statistics there. But the spending that I wanted to compare it to was Christmas. Christmas, so $10 billion across the United States for Christmas. Okay. Wait, sorry. 10 billion across the United States for Halloween. What do we think it is for Christmas? It is $886 billion. Almost 10x. Well, actually, sorry. That's like almost like 100x. See, 100, 1,000. It's a lot. It's a lot more than it's not even comparable to Thanksgiving. Wow. I'm not good at doing like quick math like that in my head anymore. I think it's because we don't do that often. We always have a calculator with us. I miss being good at math. $800 billion for Christmas. So almost a trillion. That's crazy. If you are a listener of this podcast, I hope that you are starting to save for Christmas now. Now is the time. I mean, now you got to be buying the gifts. I hope you were saving throughout the year. Have a separate fund, right? Like I like to do a fund for either, I just call it a sinking fund. And I use it for either vacations or gifts. But the vacations aren't as much of a concern because I have so many points racked up. I'm hoping to not have to pay for travel for the next like 2 years. But that required a lot of spending up front. But it's coming in handy now. I've been accumulating points since 2018, actually, for the most part. But yeah, so Christmas, try to save a little bit throughout the year, gift wise, and then what you know is that you can try to find deals. Like if you have to go and buy something, right? You might as well look for those deals, those sales, the Memorial, the Labor Day, the ones I just made fun of. Those are good times to go do your shopping. Just planning ahead is always going to give you more time to be patient. We talked about that on the finance and fashion episode, and I'm reiterating it now. So yeah, I mean, in the next couple of weeks, some of the topics that I've been asked to talk about are eating out and like dining and grocery shopping. All of that kind of covered. So we'll talk about food and finance, and then traveling with the holiday season coming up. So we'll talk a little bit more about points. I've talked about traveling points and using perks and those rewards and stuff. I talked about that back in April when I went to Tulum and paid for those flights with points. But I will cover it again, and we'll talk about like times of days and weeks to buy flights. I know everybody thinks like Tuesday is the best time. It's shifted since COVID. COVID changed everything. So I'll come to you guys soon with traveling and holiday tips and tricks, and then balling out, dining on a budget, dining and grocery shopping on a budget. But yeah, I mean, hey, quick short episode this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about your Halloween obsession. Even if you're not a fan of Halloween, you're still spending money on Halloween. You probably still spent $100 on groceries, candy, whatever. Candy probably went up this year. Fuck. I mean, yeah, but go get your teeth checked. And we're coming into open enrollment season. That's why I wanted to talk about the health care too, healthcare insurance. Open enrollment is usually November. Usually it's like mid-November to end of November. So evaluate all of your options, your plans, and then see what makes the most sense to the next year. Because I don't think unless you have a major life event, you can't change that again until this time next year. And as always, go check us out. Go follow, share, and like as much as you can. I really appreciate it. At Talk Cash Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Go check out the new website. It's kind of cool. I'm trying to play around with it and see what else I want to put on there. But that is talkcashordon'tspeak.com. And keep an eye out for merchandise pre-order options coming up here in the next week. We'll probably do a pre-order of the white shirts in the first week of November so that it is shipped and in your hand by the end of the month. And then that gives me time and everything to get everything ordered. But this is the shirt. Talk Cash or Don't Speak, baby. Thank you for listening. Have a great Talk Cash Tuesday. Have a great week. I hope you enjoyed your Halloween back on Monday and your Halloween weekend. It's full charge ahead towards Thanksgiving, people. Start slimming down, save up some room for that stuffing. Talk to you guys later. Peace.